Okay, I put the piece of rubber rail in the steamer, and I'm just going to show you a quick shot of my steamer setup for those of you who haven't seen it. There's the steam box, and that's made out of, it's galvanized, it's ductwork basically, wrapped in insulation. And I don't know if you probably hear it going right now. And then I have some automotive hose going to my steamer itself. This is a steam generator that I built. It's the same that Dannenberg has in his book. It's made out of a black pipe and a sight tube. There's a sight tube. I'll get a flashlight so you can see there's a sight tube. The water level is right there. And that tells you, it's just good to have that so you know that there's water over that element, because there's a 3500 watt 220 water heater element that's in the bottom of this, and that's what heats the water and producing the steam. And the top of that element is right around here. It screws in from the bottom, and it's right around there. And if this water drops, if this water in the sight tube drops below this point here, then I know that that's going to run dry. And if it runs dry for just a few seconds, that element it'll just fry, it'll just burn out. So it's good to have the sight tube so you know how much water is in the system. And now a lot of guys would have, they'll take and hook right up to a garden hose to feed this, but then you've got to try to regulate how much water is going to it with like some kind of trickle valve. I don't have running water out in my shop, so I came up with this Durotub system. It's just gravity feeds it, and it's worked out great for me. It's portable. I've moved this steam system all around the shop. Right now I have it here because I have my steam box up above the wood pile there, and that's kind of a good place for it. And if you see the piece on the top, that's an extension. So the steam box is 8 foot, and the extension is probably another 6, I think. So I could do longer pieces. I could just set that right on this other side and do longer pieces, and I've done that before. It works well. So this gravity feed system, it's nice because whatever the water level in this Durotub is, that's what it's going to be right here in this sight tube. So, and it doesn't burn or use so much water that I can't keep up with it. I mean, I put probably, let's see, 7 or 8 gallons in it just to get the flow through the system and stuff. And for an hour's worth of steam, and I won't have to put any more in it. So it's not like I have to keep watching it. So, and if you were concerned with that, you could just fill it up a little bit higher. So it comes out of the bottom, just gravity feed. I have a valve here, and then I just have a garden hose, and then I have, let me get the flashlight again. I have a check valve going into the steamer. What was happening is this right here is a check valve, so it only allows the water really to flow, into the steamer. Before I had that, the water was heating up in the bottom of the steamer. It was producing steam, which was good, but the water was so hot it was backing up the system, and it was actually heating up the water in the Durotub, so I didn't like that. So this is just a check valve. It's just a gravity, a little brass, like a flap in there. So this right now, this garden hose is cool, so none of the hot water is backing up. So it's worked well for me, and there's the water level right there. It fluctuates a little bit because it's boiling inside this pipe right now. And then I have a breaker and then a switch right there, and it's grounded. So my buddy's an electrician, and he wired this up for me, so he did it right. And then I have it's plugged into this big 10 gauge wire right now. It's basically an extension cord, and it's running because my nearest outlet is over here, a 220 outlet. It's the same one that I plug my table saw into. So I had this big 10 gauge wire, so I ran it up through here. So I could put this pretty much anywhere in the shop. So I just thought I'd show you the steam system. All right. Okay, a couple things I forgot to mention when I was showing you my steamer was, first of all, the temperature gauge. I have a gauge right up here in the back end of it, and the camera can't pick it up right now, I don't think, but it's reading about 209. And I used to have a digital one, but the battery went out on it. Now I have this dial gauge, and it's reading about 208, 209, something like that, and that's about right. When I had the digital one, it would usually stay right around 210. You know, 212 is all you're going to get out of the steam. So if you get 210, 211, that's not bad. So it's usually up over, you know, right around 210, and that's when I put the wood in when it reaches temperature like that, and then it holds there. So there was that, and the other thing was I have this little valve right here in the middle of the system, and the way I have the lines, this is the near the low point, and that's just to, and then I have a rubber hose going to a little bucket. There's not much going into it right now. This isn't much of an issue. Before, when I had a 4,500 watt element in there, it was boiling the water so hard that it was coming up through this tube, and it was actually pushing it up into the steam box. And it was, I mean, it's one thing to get steam in the steam box, but this was gurgling water. It was pushing water up through the steam box, and it was getting all over the wood, and it was, you know, I was having a problem with it being, you know, staining it and stuff. So I put that valve in there, and that helped it a little bit. But after I put that 3,500 watt, that seemed to be the right size, because I did experiment and I had a 2,500 watt in there, and that wasn't quite enough. So the 35 is the right size for this. And then the other thing about this steam box is it's a tin box, and on certain, like on whole planks or planks that are going to be stained and varnished, it's more of an issue. It's not that much of an issue for bottom planks or something that's going to be painted, but the tin and the metal, the water or the steam would get drip off of the top of the steam box on the inside, and it would mix with that galvanized metal, and it took me a while to figure it out, but it was staining the wood really bad, like deep gray, and you couldn't even really sand it out. It went pretty deep into the wood. And what I figured out was it was from the metal. So if I build another steam box, it's going to be out of plywood probably. So what I did to fix that was, there's a piece of plywood at the very top. I don't know if you can see it, but that takes the brunt of all the condensation and the dripping coming down from the top of the steam box. It hits that and it stains that instead of the piece that's in there, the wood that's in there, so it protects it. So if I have to do it again, I'll build one out of plywood though. All right.